All right, all right. Welcome to another show. This series is our Ask Google series. Is Google right or wrong? Myth or what's the opposite of myth? Friend or foe? Facts or false? Oh, that's one. Facts or false. My name is Drew Tadia, founder and CEO of True Form Life. We have been doing this for 20 years. We help women increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. So if that's you, you're in the right place. And we're excited to jump on to do another show. And this one here is going to be directed towards the Google series. So what we're doing, what I am doing. Oops. We're excited to jump on. I am making sure I'm in the right place. I'll pull this up. Morning, Tracy. I'm going to pull this up to make sure I'm in the right place and to read your comments. So these are shorter shows. So what I'm going to do, what I have been doing for the last few is, I guess I should preface, you could be listening to this in other areas. Sometimes we repurposed on this on YouTube. We have our podcast, Ageless Energy. So if you're hearing this on different platforms, that's perfectly okay. Right now I'm going live on my Facebook page, facebook.com/trueformlife. And I'm happy to answer questions as you guys jump in here. And okay. So I am literally Googling, and this idea came up. I've mentioned this a few times. Every time I jump on, is that I think that often we're Google smart. That could be any search engine you like, but often I'll hear someone say, they'll tell me something, and I would say, "Where did you get that from?" And they'll say, "Well, I Googled it." And I'm like, "Okay, where did the source come from?" And, well, I don't know. I just Googled it. It came up at the top. So search engines put it up at the top what they want to put up at the top, not necessarily factual. And then I guess the other caveat to that is often I feel like we are continually search until we find the answer we're looking for. So it may not necessarily be accurate. I wanted to jump on here and go through what this looks like for balanced hormones in particular. So how to balance hormones naturally for women is what I Googled. And you can use any search engine, but I personally use Brave on a regular basis for my search engine. But I do find that Google is a bit better at searching for certain things. I think they probably all stand out in different ways. Not that matters, but okay, so this is AI. This is the AI overview, which is now being pushed everywhere. It says to balance hormones naturally, you can try eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly, and reducing stress. Would I agree with that? 100%. So if you guys watched any of the past ones, I didn't agree and won't agree with a lot of what's being said. And I feel like rough overviews aren't all that beneficial. So I'm trying to go a little bit deeper to help you guys out. So this one here, so when it says diet, it says eat a balanced diet of whole foods, eat lean proteins and healthy fats, eat foods rich in omegas, like salmon, mackerel, and flaxseed, and eat fiber-rich foods and whole grains, avoid processed foods and excess sugar. I shockingly would agree with all that. I would. So here's the thing is that we found when it comes to women balancing hormones in particular, when they come to us with a number of different issues, and I mean, you can fill in the blank. There's tons of different hormone imbalances that happen with women and more symptoms, especially during that menopausal state. And often we're looking for a really complicated answer. I mean, this could be complicated, and I think it's more complicated than we want to admit. Because if it wasn't, then everyone would be healthy and fit, and like everyone would be eating well and reduce stress. So it is more complicated. It's not as simple as the Google answers, but this is a pretty basic answer. But again, I feel like a lot of people are looking for something way more complex. I've heard from a number of people that would go to and I have zero problems with getting blood work done. DNA testing might be a good idea for in certain situations. I need to talk to a naturopath. I've tried everything, nothing works. And it's like, I feel like we're looking for some type of validation, like there's something wrong with us. And in most cases, there's nothing wrong with us. We just need to put in the work and do the basics first before we look at more complex. Good morning, Tracy. How is your travels going? I've been watching your your pictures and posts on social media. It looks like you're having a blast, so I hope that's all going well. So I feel like we're looking for something complex because we feel like if I do surface level stuff, it's not really going to be beneficial, and that's rarely the case. If we start with the very basics, and that's the thing, is like a lot of times people will say, well, I've tried everything, and my first thought is, have you tried consistency? Because that is the biggest challenge when it comes to this kind of thing. We try workouts for a couple weeks, we do the 21-day fix, and then we kind of lose motivation and interest because we don't see those results we're looking for. And then instead of finding someone that could properly balance macros or offer a sustainable meal plan that's more lifestyle instead of a fad diet, we try something extreme like, okay, I'm not going to eat any fats for 3 months, right? Or I'm going to do I'm just going to eat the carnivore diet. I'm just going to eat meat. That's it. And see how that goes. Like a lot of those diets, like they're diets for a reason because they offer short-term results, and they're not going to be sustainable for you to see long-term results. So what happens is you see the short-term results, like a diet is for short-term results, and then you realize I can't do this forever. You stop doing it and you gain your weight back, right? Like it's pretty clear that happens on a regular basis from where I'm sitting because I'm in the business and I'm in it every day. So Google also says try deep breathing exercises, mindful meditation and yoga, quality sleep, hanging out in the shipping house. I'm going to have to start doing this even earlier. There's no one around I'm in here at 5:36. There's no one around until like 7:30. And then the noise starts. Tracy says trip was wonderful. A lot warmer there for sure. 60-degree difference is hard to get used to, I could imagine. Well, welcome back. Yeah, it's 100%. I think Shelly in our map did the same thing. She was in Mexico, and it was 30 plus, and she came back to almost minus 30. So back to stress management, quality sleep, manage chronic health conditions. That's a tough one for me. Like, what is that? That doesn't mean anything. What kind of chronic health conditions? How do you manage it well? That's something to dive a bit deeper in. Reduce exposure to harmful chemicals, BPA, parabens, hard metals, etc. 100%. I'm surprised Google would say that, because you have like your conventional toothpaste, you have your hard metals and deodorants, your hairsprays, like that all wreaks havoc on our internal system in many different ways, and that's definitely will cause your body to be inflamed and offer more hormonal imbalances and menopausal types of symptoms. Other tips to maintain healthy weight: watch your gut health, quit smoking or using tobacco. That'd probably be someone that is smoking would say it's much harder than that. It's easier said than done, but removing tobacco and alcohol from your diet without question is certainly something to consider. Let's see what else it says. It talks about herbs and supplements. Herbs, I should say. Give me 2 seconds. I just have a timer that's going off. I have these timers. Our MAP members know that I'm very conscious of time in everything that I do, and I have these little timers around the office, and they may not go off on the most ideal times or situations, but it helps me stay on track of my time when I'm always setting timers for everything, which is something that I recommend. Okay, so herbs and supplements, some herbal hormones. I haven't read this before, so I don't know if I agree with it. I'm just reading it. Herbal hormone supplements contain functional mushrooms, red clover, chastase, tree berry, ashwagandha. There's a couple I can't read. Black cohosh root. Yeah, herbs is something I'm definitely interested in. I'm a big fan of Ayurvedic, Eastern types of medicines and philosophies. I wish I knew more. I really like the idea of mushrooms for natural health. Like I'm not talking about magic mushrooms. Not that I have a problem with them. That's not particularly what I'm talking about here. But I think that like ashwagandha is something I'd like to learn more about and get into. This types of stuff, like when those of you that know us, know our business, we are big fans of natural supplements. That's part of our business, and we definitely see a big difference from paying attention to what's going on in your body. It makes such a big difference. Like gut health, for example, we have seen such a big difference. Like a lot of women come to us. Like you may have heard at the beginning, I talked about gain energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. That's the main three reasons women come to us, and that's the main three reasons or ways we can help benefit our audience. So when it comes to hormone balancing in particular, we've seen a huge difference in our ladies when they come in and they change their diet. And we talk about digestion a lot, which improves energy naturally. And then as we continue to dive deep and look at their digestion and gut health and gut microbiome, that slowly improves over time through the suggestions and actions that we suggest. Those symptoms start to go away, and it's incredible to see. And sometimes we have ladies come in that are, it's the same situation, like very emotional, don't really know where to go, doctor doesn't seem to help, otherwise not sure who to go to otherwise. And then we start getting them exercising properly. And when I say properly, there's a certain way that we suggest exercising. It's not deadlifting or doing burpees or PBing every time you go to the gym. Like it's very different. Like when I used to work out super intense, I was exhausted after a workout and often throughout the day until my body had a chance to rest and recover. And that was through not just time, but proper supplementation, proper nutrients like nutrition, proper balancing macros. So I feel like a lot of times we jump into some type of gym atmosphere, we work out as hard as we possibly can, and then we're exhausted throughout the whole day. And we think that it's supposed to be like that because we don't have someone talking to us about post-workout supplementation, or how to get the proper nutrients into your diet on a regular basis. So that's why I say there's a bit more to it than just reading off some of these tips of like, okay, deep breathing. Then you have to look at habits, right? Like for our clients, we help them stack habits and we help them manage their time so their day is more, we call it time blocking. But in particular, if you don't have time to work out, right? Like I put that in quotations. If you don't have time to work out, if you don't have time to get your meal planning in, and you're not really sure what fermented foods to take, like you need someone to help you out and offer you direction, a plan, and more than anything to keep you accountable, someone to check in on a regular basis. Good morning, Sherry, and Monique jumped in here as well. And supplementation is something that we talk about here. This one mentioned more herbs and some type of supplements, not a whole. Looks like they're almost all herbs. But good morning, Rhonda. But looking at your gut health in particular and paying attention to the supplementation that you're using, like for example, we're big fans of magnesium. That is certainly beneficial for your gut health. And then you can look at some other things in particular like activated charcoal, chlorella. These types of natural supplements actually make a difference in many different areas, not just one. But again, I feel like we probably, to make a big difference, we'd have to remove the thoughts around there's something seriously wrong with me, and only hormone replacement therapy is going to make a difference, or my doctor prescribing some medication is the answer. And maybe it is for you. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not a doctor. They certainly know more about meds than I do. But there's a lot of different things that we can do to balance our hormones. And the easy answer that a lot of people don't want to hear is that putting yourself or finding someone that can get you on a proper exercise program, keep you accountable to it, and then balancing your macros with a proper meal plan, whether that's recipes and grocery shopping lists to make it easy as possible. But there's so many things that we can do, and I feel like the thought or words of I've tried everything. I feel like it's just an easy way out to not continue to try, because there's so many things that can be tried, and there's so many things that can be done, and there's so many different angles and ways and suggestions and we don't lack information, we lack implementation. So more times than not, people are reading about this kind of stuff or thinking about doing this kind of stuff and not actually doing what is it? You're not being, you're doing. I'm not a human being. What is that phrase? Do you guys know? Human, I don't know what it is. Instead of being a human being, doesn't matter. We need to take action, is my point. We need to take action, consistent action, and then probably in most cases what I find is so consistency is number one, and then number two is the actual work that's put in. So often we'll see someone that it will work hard for a short amount of time, so so they're not consistent long enough, and they probably don't work hard enough long enough. But that comes to your frame of reference. Like, for example, I bumped into a kid here, and he came from a business school, and he came from a bit of the corporate world but to move to his own business, and it was more based around like the mindset or thought process was 9 to 5. And I told him, like, we had a few conversations, and I told him I get up at 4 and I'm at work at often 5:30. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. He's like, "What? How? Come again?" So I explained it again. Then it was but it was a mind shift. Like, often when I say, like, maybe your workouts aren't intense enough, which is rare, your workouts may not be intense enough, but your frame of reference is so little, you're not really sure what that means. That's usually the opposite, unfortunately. Like, we see women coming from, like, really super high intensity types of programs, and those I actually find do the opposite. Those increase your cortisol levels. I mean, not just increase injuries, but they increase your cortisol levels. Your body is always in a fight or flight state, fighting off injuries and trying really hard to recover for you actually to see the results you're looking for. That's unfortunate. But then when it comes to, like, meal planning or your nutrition, often we think that, like, 2 meals a day is enough. And I'm like, that's not nearly enough. So we add them on a proper calorie count, and they're like, whoa, this is too much food. That's only because their frame of reference is 1 or 2 meals a day. If your frame of reference was 6 giant meals a day, just for example, like Phelps, for example, he would eat something crazy like 13,000 calories a day. If you put him on 3,000 calories, obviously his frame of reference is much different, and he would say, "Are you starving me?" You put someone on 3,000 calories that's used to 1,000 calories, that's 3 times the amount. And they're like, it's not something that we do. I'm just saying, often it's they come in with very little, so they don't realize, like, their frame of reference is very skewed. If you have someone that eats really well, then their frame of reference is fine. Or if someone that comes in, they just need, sometimes the ladies come into our program and they just need a little bit of direction and a little bit of change. It's more easier for them because they don't have to make such big changes because of their frame of reference. But that's hard to change. You have to change your mindset when looking at stuff like this and saying, oh, okay, well, I'm looking at gut bacteria. I do one thing to improve my gut bacteria a week. Like, okay, if you're not seeing results, it's probably not enough. So you have to increase. You have to do 3 times a week. And if that's not enough to see the results you're looking for, maybe you're looking at 6 times a week. So you're doing something to increase your gut bacteria 6 days a week out of 7. Like, that's pretty good. But that's a big jump from someone that's not doing anything to someone that's doing 1 or 2 things a week, right? So we have to continually raise our standards and open our vision to continue to see the results we're looking for. Often I see the opposite of people, like, not willing to put in that work or not interested, and probably more than anything, just not really sure how. So anyways, I want to jump off to keep these short. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments, and if we can help at all, shoot us a message. DM works fine. Trueformlife.com is our website. And otherwise, have a great day, and we'll catch you again sometime soon. Bye, everyone.